In the dead of night, when the shadows creep, dirty filth is joining while cryptids sleep. Sasquatch dancing from the solid skies, Mothman's ventures with glowing eyes. History built and cryptic cartoons, space out radio, blasting past the moon. Dark penthouse, aliens grin, buoys block as the weird begins. Charles and legends that we love, from swampy lands to stars above. Brushes pays, the crowd leans in. Every stroke, there's a fun begin. So buckle up, touch truth news. Dirty film and cryptic cartoons. Space out radio, we start for you. The studio so I can see things. Hello everyone, creeps and cryptids. Rearrange this here. Welcome to an extra soggy episode of Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, Fox Vegas. I'm Dirty Filth, she's Fox Vegas, and we're relatively soggy here in Edmonton right now. We're supposed to be at the art walk today, but we decided to pass on going to the art walk because the weather said that it was going to be torrentially raining, and well, it was relatively nice until about 1 o'clock, 2-ish. Then it just decided to open up everywhere all over the place, and I feel sorry for the poor people that are still out at the art walk today. And yes, so I decided to draw a cartoon today. We were going to attempt to do some kind of live thing at the art walk. However, that kind of took a back seat because nothing would be worse than trying to wrangle up a bunch of rowdy bunnies and plushies and cover cartoons in the middle of a torrential downpour. So, like I said, we decided to stay home today, and I'm going to do a little cartoon here instead, which is not bad, but also it would have been nice to be out there mingling with the other nerds and doing art walk stuff instead of sitting at home drawing cartoons, which I enjoy doing as well. But, you know, sometimes it's better to err on the side of caution than it is to, excuse me, than it is to, you know, lose potentially millions of dollars worth of artwork, because nothing goes for less than $3,000 each. But yes, thanks for joining us. Let's have a gander here. We've got Undead Jed. Hello, Undead Jed. I hope you're doing fine. My feet are soaking wet because I had to run up to the garage and grab my grab my paints and everything out of the supply cart. So my feet are a little bit soggy, but that's all right. All the art is okay. The bunnies are all right. Everything's mostly fine and dandy, except for obviously the poor guys at the art walk. And I feel sorry for my artistic brethren. And I hope Tooth is doing well, because I know she's got a bunch of stuff out there. One of my art walk friends, she actually does tattoos and junk, and I think at some point in time we're gonna have to do some kind of collaboration with that stuff, because she got some pretty interesting artwork. But if anybody is still in Edmonton, down there, it's probably nice and soggy now. Oops, cat fuzz. I haven't seen that coming. But yes, otherwise, thanks for hanging out on this soggy Saturday. It's been Alberta's just been really weird this year. Usually we just get the usual rain and whatnot. And we had the monsoon June right into, I forget what Fox called it.
Never dry July.
Yes, never dried July, because apparently we don't get any. But I guess on the plus side, there's plus and minuses about this situation. The good thing is, well, I guess I do have to kind of shovel the water away from the side of my house and everything, but I don't have to shovel this as snow. So it's significantly less heavy than it would be if it was a bunch of snow.
And the air's not full of smoke from wildfires.
Yes. So we got to take the good with the bad, right? As king, you must look at the good in even a bad situation. Right there, Longshanks? Yes, that's what he said in Braveheart. So.
Yes, but I don't think he was subjected to mutant frickin' mosquitoes.
Probably not. They'd shoot. You know what? He's got all those British archers, so he wouldn't have to worry about them.
How much blood did we donate yesterday morning at the art walk?
I think between Fox and I, there's probably about 13 gallons of our blood floating around inside little mosquitoes right now. 13 gallons each, by the way. None of this adding up everything. We got to the art walk bright and early at 10ish, 9:30, 10ish around that time, and proceeded to be eaten alive by mosquitoes. And even poor Eddie had mosquitoes on him.
Yep.
But he's a dog. He's tougher than we are. And about an hour or so later, it got all nice and warm out, and then we proceeded to sweat to death. And the gremlin apparently peed on one of the seats, so it was a little bit stinky. And luckily, Fox, with her big brains, like, I'm going to run to the dollar store and see if I can find something. So we had some a slightly less stinky time once we figured out what the heck was going on. So, yes, look at that little thread there. There. So, yes. Oh, yes. I should say hi to everybody properly here. Hello, Jed. Are you on Filthy's Discord? I don't know if he is. I'm not Undead Jed, so I can't tell you. Where is it here? Let me pull it up so I can share it with people if they want. We need to make a Discord for our secret project there, Fox.
Yes, we do.
Let's see here. Where do I go? Well, I believe. Well, there we go. Invite to server. There's the old thing here. Yes, this is a link to my Discord. I don't really do a lot of it. There's not a lot of people in there. Sometimes just use it when I'm hanging out with my friends playing video games, which I don't do as much as I used to because I'm too busy being cool, drawing cartoons, and fighting that gremlin. But yes, it was a soggy day yesterday and a soggy day today. But tomorrow is supposed to be really nice all day. So we're going to go out there and we're going to sell all of the art and become relatively rich. Hopefully. So this drawing, anyway. Oh, yes, I got to go through all this. Saying hi to everybody here. Hello, lovely Jules. I bow graciously in your direction. Oh, look, there's Spaced Out Radio. That's me. Undead Jed. Cosmic Joe doing cosmic things. And we got Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. Let me know whenever that package arrives. It Canada Post and everything takes forever. And Mr. Andy Cowley. That's one of my favorite names in the entire world is Andy. Slightly biased because it's my grandpa's name. And also Kitty Caddywhack. Hi, Kitty Caddywhack. And oh look, Undead Jed again. Hello, Undead Jed for like the third time maybe. And I think I got everybody. Cosmic Joe. If I didn't say I did. Hi again, anyways, Cosmic Joe. And Skip to Maloo. Hello. I hope you're not as soggy as we are in Canada, but I don't know. You're in the land of like wooden shoes, I think, so you should be okay. All right, back to this stuff here. Yes, it was a soggy day, and we're gonna go with it. And then, fortunately for us, we can go for some chicken wings after. And if it gets soggy, as long as it's soggy, once Fox and I both get home, then everyone will be happy, and there won't be too much of a problem or anything. But sometimes that's the way she goes. Gets a little bit soggy, and you just gotta ride it out. I'll have to do some shoveling of the shoveling of the water away from the side of my house and in my backyard. Just the water's just the ground is just so saturated at this point in time. It's just pooling up everywhere. And
well, except my backyard because it was so bone dry that like it's still not pooling.
You still got cracked dirt.
Yep. Although the back alley is a totally different story. That's probably could be considered a Great Lake at this point, and I have to walk through that to get home.
I was there.
Fantastic.
I was there 3 weeks ago to get my plushie, and yes, I can confirm it's a Great Lake behind Fox's house.
And that's not to mention the other 2 sections of alley that I have to take to get home. They're just as bad.
Yeah, we're pretty soggy here, folks.
Thank God for 4.5-inch platform wedge shoes.
Even with those shoes, she's barely reaching 5 feet. Right?
You're in danger.
I'm gonna get hurt. So yes, I decided to draw a cartoon of Carl visiting Edmonton with a torrential downpour on top of him because it's very appropriate for this point in time. Oh, look at that. There's a cat fuzz that I can get preemptively before it gets stuck on my brush. Score. Except for that one. Damn it.
What about the cats? Are they hiding from the rain?
Yeah, they heard the little bit of thunder earlier, and then that was it. Gonzo. Especially that gremlin. He's a big wuss.
Sounds like Eddie. He heard a little bit of thunder this morning. He's looking at me like, Mom!
Save me.
It's like, you are the biggest scam dog on the planet. You look like this big, hulking, monstrous, like, beast of muscle, and, like, something makes a noise, and you're like,
save me.
Yep. Clearly, I have a pit bull.
I got to hang out with him in the back seat on the way to the show yesterday, or the art walk yesterday. Got to give him some scratches. Very important to give the dog scratches. So I technically didn't miss out on a dog on Friday because I would have scratched Pico. I would have had 2 dogs I could have pet yesterday, but not that time. So anyway, it was kind of neat watching some of the videos around Edmonton. There was a guy actually swimming in his intersection. I seen down on like 34th Street or something like that. But it's lower Bangladesh area, so it's always soggy down there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I feel bad for the people that were still at the art walk. My pal Curtis called me and he's like, Where are you, Klaus? I'm like, I stayed home because we're not gonna get soggy. He's like, doesn't seem to be soggy right now. I was like, oh, you just wait, mister.
Oh, look, and now it's sunny again.
Yeah, and now it's sunny. Just like yesterday, the light pole in front of my house was dancing all over the place. And then it happened again today. And now it's all sunny out, and we'll probably get another thunderstorm later on tonight because that's usually how it goes when you live in the prairies.
Yep.
It rains, and then all the rain collects, and then the heat comes out, it evaporates. It's like, well, you gotta send this out again, and well, there you go. Back out into the goes right back under the ground and goes back up into the sky, and then it's just a vicious process over and over. But there's places like where Jen lives out in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and on the islands over there where it just rains all the time for them. They just live in the water. They might not even be entirely there. I think they might just be aquatic out there.
It's possible. But what I want to know is, like, do you remember, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago when we had that summer where it rained for like 3/4 of the total amount of the season?
I do, because I was working terrible shifts. My days off were Friday and Sunday at that time.
Okay.
And I remember it because I remember standing outside for a smoke and just watching the rain every single day.
Yeah. So like basically rained here for like 53 days and nights, something like that. And like we're still here. So I don't understand this whole biblical 40 days and 40 nights wiping out the planet. Like,
I mean, I live in Vancouver and it rained all the time. Like in the winter, it just pretty much rains all the time, and everybody whines about it. And then you tell them, hey, you don't have to shovel it, and they kind of change their tune fairly quick. But
and now you find yourself having to shovel water.
yeah, joke's on me. Hello, Oceange. I hope you're having a good Saturday. It's soggy here. I think it's still wintertime in Australia, in the southern hemisphere area of the universe. So I think they just get a whole bunch of rain and junk like that. Not quite versed on that part of the world. Alrighty. So yeah, so I'm just doing a little drawing here of Carl swimming. Well, it's the localized raining is the annoying part because, whoops, bonk. Like my friend Barb had messaged me at about 1:30, 1:45, and she's like, "Hey, you getting this great big huge mother of all storm?" I'm like, nope, just a little bit of rain at the time, and then shortly after, then we just got blasted with water. And then I guess I'll have to get in touch with her and see how she's doing because she lives on an apartment on the main floor on the bottom, so I hope she's not getting flooded out. But she's retired now, so she's got all the time in the world to do whatever the heck she wants. I have to draw her a special cartoon of her waking up in the morning and then standing outside and looking at the people at the bus stop and be like, I'm going back to bed because I'm retired. And then she goes back to bed. What color should I make his shorts? I haven't thought that far yet.
Wow.
Me either. I'll continue doing the grasslands around it. Well, my feet are getting a little bit dry now. Oops. As I was saying, this was originally going to be a show. If we could have gotten something at the art walk, I didn't really know what I could do. There was no Wi-Fi, so I'm not sure if I would have brought my laptop with me. I don't know how that would have worked. I probably could have mooched off one of the businesses close by, but the plus side is that we didn't go, and I didn't have to have my computer get soggy, and I didn't have to lose any artwork or any zombies or anything. So kind of bye lever. I didn't cat fuzz. Didn't have to lose too much expensive materials and
Have to deal with a bunch of soggy zombies.
yeah, I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Oh god, could you imagine soggy Bigfoot? Oh jeez.
Well, the smell would be just atrocious.
Yeah.
Whoop. All my little hobgoblin coasters stuck to my beverage container. The cycle of biblical heavy rains will continue until the earth is obviated. I don't know what that word is. I'm not that smart. I actually had someone message me. They watched one of the shows, and they messaged me and said, "What's with all the weird names that you use at the bottom of the show?" Well, for the last little while, I've just been taking names of enemy characters from an old Super Nintendo game called Earthbound, which was one of the last games ever made on Super Nintendo, and it came in a great big huge box with this massive strategy guide thing with it, and it's one of my favorite games. So I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm going to go and use a different monster's name for every time I do a show. So here we are. I went with the mini barf today because that's how I feel about the weather. Kind of bugs me, and I feel like barfing when I look at it, but it's still a lot better than it could have been because we didn't get any massive flooding so far. I know a couple people that have had their basements flooded, and I used to live in a place that the basement would flood all the time, and it was never fun. The only saving grace for that entire place, where like my grandpa's old place where I lived, was that it was a concrete unfinished basement. So I didn't have to worry about having drywall getting all moldy and funky or anything on me. Excuse me. Oh, did I miss somebody? Scrolling. Hello, Paula. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Maybe you're not soggy. You're probably lucky.
Oh yes, and the randomly falling trees.
Oh yes, there was a whole bunch of randomly falling trees all over. That was a thing. I read one guy said that he's seen lightning land in the middle of the street in front of his house, and when it dried up, he went out there and he touched the ground and it was still hot.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I've had lightning land fairly close to me a couple times, and it is it's cool when you think about it afterwards, but at the same time, it's not really cool because you basically have to change. You just got to throw those shorts out when you're done with them. Actually, speaking of that, there was at the Eskimos game that like one guy, Tom Gazzola, he does like Oilers and Eskimos coverage.
Yeah.
He was watching the game and there was a picture of they were going out of bounds and he's like panicking, trying to get out of the way of the football guy about to crush him. And I just commented, he just threw those shorts out and then he had a chuckle at it. So it's kind of funny. Sometimes though, it's just best to do that.
Yeah. And Jennifer asks, if the zombies attacked, who would they attack? Carl.
I do have a little cartoon of Carl taking a zombie home, and he's like, "I think this thing's trying to kill me." And Stanton's like, "Looks fine to me." And the next panel is Sevatar holding a knife. He's like, "Hello, Carl." And Carl's all squirming in his shorts. Good times. Let's see here. Let's make the gargoyle flying this UFO, shall we? Instead of that orange dickhead. That gremlin, I tell you, he's a big weenie. Let's give him red shorts. That'll be a little bit of contrast. Everything.
Aussie, and the same thing happened to a girl that I sometimes work with. They were mowing a large open space out by Fort Saskatchewan, big open field at a trucking lot. Thunderstorm rolls in, bolt hits the ground not too far from D, and she was thrown back, like, I swear, at least 15 feet backwards, landed flat on her ass. Got the whole thing on video.
Well, it's basically like a moving. Is it what's this? What are stove amps, like 270 or something?
220.
Yeah, 220. It's like sticking your finger in a 220 amp socket for the stove.
Over and over and over.
And then if you do get hit by lightning, you get those, and you survive, you get those weird like scars. If you want to see something interesting, just go to Google or whatever and plug in lightning strike scars, because it's pretty interesting looking. Next thing you know, people will just be getting tattoos of that, which I wouldn't do because you're just mocking nature at that point in time. And then you'll actually get hit by lightning, but it'll hit you in the brain and then just fry your whole brain. And then that'll
Well, you have to make, well, the brain has to be present for it to be fried first. There is always that.
well, that's why the gremlin's never going to get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. You know what? He's going to have some. He's got kids' goggles on. That's what we're going with. A little bit of juice on that one. But yes, we'll be doing the art walk tomorrow again, and I'll see if I can fandangle something. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but if I can maybe get something going, maybe I'll just at least like pop on and say hi to everybody, or just whip up a quick cartoon. I'm not sure. No promises. Let's see here. We need a cap. He needs a little cap on his head because he's got to keep his hair dry, right?
Yep.
Let's go with the old owl bonk. Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple tornadoes that touched down too. One by Dilbury Lake, I think it was. And then I think Wadman had a funnel cloud, but no actual tornado touching down. Alberta's the weirdest place, man, I tell you. You can go from absolute rain all over the place to blue skies with fluffy clouds, as we have right now. What a place. I don't even think Edmonton's real, to be honest. It just exists like in between the lines of the universe. If that's even possible, but
I mean, maybe we're just like a transitional dimension that exists between, actual dimensions, and it's just the runoff from the neighboring ones.
Yeah. The runoff. Edmonton is the runoff of the universe. Much like Toronto is the armpit of Canada. I think it's hilarious that we make all these Canadian jokes, and most of the people that listen are like either from like the States or everywhere else in the world. I think I think we got paranormal podcast lady. She's out in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and Labrador or whatever they call it out there. And she's got the like extra half hour of time because they're weird like that. Like, screw you, Canada. We're putting an extra half hour on.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Oh, so this might offend a lot of listeners, but it's a horrible dad joke. I have to tell it. What is the difference between an American and a computer? Americans don't have troubleshooting.
Oh boy.
Yep.
We're getting shut down for that one.
Oh, well, not my fault. I blame Corey.
But the best thing about America is they have dollar bills. So whenever I go there, I just get all my money turned into dollar bills, and I feel super rich. Walking around with a stack of cash, and everyone's like, gonna go rob me, and the guy's like, give me all your money. I'm like, here you go. He's like, there's like $8 here. Can I have it back? Yeah, screw you, man. And he gives me my money back.
I think it would be more hilarious though if you were to give him like a stack of like loonies and toonies. Then they'd really look at you and be like, what the f is this?
Remember we used to have $2 bills?
Yep.
Those were cool. With the rob. You know what? The best bills ever were the ones with the birds on them.
Yeah. Now we have just
You get
weird things.
Here, let's look at some of that weird Canadian money. Here's what our money looks like. Look at this weird stuff. This is what do we got here? Every individual is equal before and under the law and has the right to equal protection and equal benefit of the law without discrimination.
If only that were true.
Asterisks, not really. So they have all this stuff, and they got these weird perforations. I don't know if you can really see them very well, but there's some weird perforations there. And they put all these, like, they put people on them, which, yeah, I guess cool. But that's the 10, and then we got, oh, geez, it's a reptilian. Oh, but yeah, this is the National War Monument. This is all basically all this money here is probably about $3 American. But yeah, I think the 10 or the 5 is kind of cool because it's got the Canada arm, which that's kind of neat. And then You got this dude with his terrible haircut on the back. Ugh, Wilfred Laurier, what are you doing?
Apparently, our currency looks like Australian currency as well. Also, I've heard that Canadian money and Australian money, if left in the sun or put in the oven, if you're really curious, basically acts like a shrinky dink.
But speaking of cool money,
or just turns into a melted puddle of goo.
Not much beats the Costa Rican colones. Look at that. They got I don't know what that is there. That's a Venado Cola Blanca. I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong. That's 1 million colones. And then this one's got the monkey on it. This is their older stuff. It's a Mangalar, I think. I don't know. That's what it says. And they got guy with power stash on there. And it's all my random bills that I have from like different places. I collect bills and dirt from around the world. All right. Nonetheless, we got to get to the drawing part here. Nobody wants to sit there and stare at my collection of $6.50 American. Alrighty. I like the American money because it's all like uniform, like kind of like one sort of color. Except for I think they're hundreds. They're colored like the. Hello, boy.
You have a cat.
Hello, Mr. Granny. What are you doing? Hey, come here. Let's look at a gremlin, shall we?
Gotta meet cat quota.
There he is. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, boy. Hello, you little piss tank. Are you gonna go pee on something? Probably. Look at him. He's not even very smart.
Come here.
Yep, there's a cat butt for you, everybody. Look, and there's Fox's hand. All right, back to the drawing now that we've looked at cats and talked about cool-looking money. I just want to get on the New York Times bestsellers list, and then they can pay me in American funds. Then I can only work half days, starting in the afternoon. All right, this is going to be Gargoyle flying this one, because it's been the Gremlin the last couple times, and they'll share. Maybe he's got his own little cat UFO. There we are. And Dave, I'm sorry if you get some strike against you because of the background music. The missus is playing Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo, and I know that YouTube likes to hammer you if they have unsolicited music that's not yours, or even if, Bumblefoot gives you a song to listen to or a music track of some sort to listen to, they still say that you don't own it, despite him writing them a letter being like, I gave these guys permission to use this. And then YouTube's like, well, we'll have to look into it. It's like, but I made this and I gave it to them. Well, we don't believe you. It's like that Ron Burgundy's like, don't believe you. But yes, there's the Gremloid for everybody. It's very important to have a cat during the show. And I went for a walk with my friend yesterday at the art walk, and there was a little orange cat. There was a guy busking. He had a little orange cat hanging out with him, and I wanted to pet him, but it's not my cat to pet, and I didn't want to bug the guy because he was playing music, and I'm just probably could have pet the cat, but like I said, not my cat. He was just a little tiny guy too, not unlike that monster's gremlin. Look at Carl and he's got his little floaty devices on his arm too, because he's not sure about his swimming skills. Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty, Carl's arms all drawn up here. Oh, I really slopped the water on here, didn't I? Yes, I did. It's like Pico at work when she drinks water. It just gets everywhere. I don't even think she actually drinks the water. It just kind of splocks all over the place. I don't even know if that's a word either, splocking. That's a new term for something that gets splattered all over. There's Carl all soggy with his sogifying. Great. Yes, thanks for joining us. If anyone's just listening in right now, I'm here every Saturday. Well, I'm supposed to not be here today, but generally every Saturday, unless we get abducted by aliens or beaten up by a Bigfoot. And I'm Dirty Filth, and she's Fox Vegas. She does all the writing and brilliant ideas. Some of them are terrible ideas that become the greatest drawings ever. And she also makes all the plushies, which I don't really have one handy here somewhere. Wait, I do. I have a dog man. Here's a dog man. Handmade plushie with his nice dog man tail. Wiggle, wiggle. His little dog man feet. His little dog man paws. Yes, this one's not available unless you have $10 million. Then I'll consider it. Sorry, Fox, I'd sell it for $10 million.
So would I.
I'd give you 5.
Okay.
Okay, deal. So somebody find $10 million and then Fox and I can split it. But yes, she does all the plushies and everything for me, and I do the easy part. I just draw the cartoons. And yes, as I said, we're here every Saturday, and during the week you can catch Dave Scott Monday to Friday. And don't forget, you can also, ooh, I didn't like that one, did I? You can go to Caribou, I think it's cariboucon.com, or you just go to Spaced Out Radio. There'll be a link there. Go to Spaced Out Radio, check out CaribouCon. I think you only got a couple of days left. I think July 30th is the last day, or the 15th, I think Dave said. 15th or 30th. I can't remember. But give it a shot. If you got nothing to do in September, or you're really interested in going on an actual ghost tour where it's not a bunch of BS gobbledygook, then that would be the place to go. And you get to go to British Columbia, which is an absolutely beautiful place. If you've never been there, I would suggest putting that on a list of places you should go. And plus, you get to bug Dave in person. I contemplated going there, but I bought a house, so I'm really poor right now. So I don't think I'll be doing too much adventuring around right now. God, these little spindly alien legs. This right. Getting close to finish this guy up here, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming and hanging out for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. If you just come in and have a look and head out, I appreciate it, because you only got so much time to do things every day. And if you spend a little bit of time with Fox and I and all the geeks in the chat room, then I appreciate it, and I'm fairly certain they appreciate it as well. I don't know why I drew Carl first when I got background to finish doing, but that's the way she goes. So we'll draw this big old stormy cloud, the one that's been following everybody in Edmonton around for the last week or so. I'm just starting to realize that I'm really hot with this damn jacket on. But such is life. Okay. That all drawn up there. I do have a special technique for making sure the water looks like it's quite rainy and wet. We'll get to that in a minute here. Do the nice warm sun, because, you know, right underneath the heavy cloud, you can't see anything. You can hardly see across the street because it's raining so heavily and so on and so forth. But once it gets a little bit, once the rain goes by and everything, then it's nice and clear out. So that's just the way it goes. Everybody in Edmonton is basically Carl, stuck under this torrential downpour of doom. Of doom, I tells you. We'll get this grass all drawn up here. Let's see, when you have rain there, you just do a little, everything in the background's got to be just a little bit thinner so that you can tell that it's getting super soggy. That's just the way that I do my cartoons, because I find it works good that way. So it's like when you write what you know about. That's what they say. I'm not really much of a writer. I do have to do some writing for my books, but novels and junk, I leave that to the professionals. I have a lot of ideas for novels, and it's mostly just came from my role-playing games and stuff with all my nerd friends, but I don't have time for that because, yeah, gotta draw cartoons and do important stuff like that. There, and we go like that. Go, oops, from there, and then I switch to the water here. And it just kind of gives it the effect that it's all underwater and extra soggy, and then a good old pool of water for good measure. There we go. Little droplets coming off of wet Carl here. And you just kind of make these little lines with a circle at the end. And then you have to make sure you put a couple little splotches on them to make it look like it's splattering. And that just kind of gives it a nice little watery effect. And then you can do maybe a little bit of water on his shoulders and maybe on his hands. Hello, Grouchy. We have a grump. I have found this whiskey. Actually, it has found us. Hello, whiskey. Are you grouchy or regular grumpy or super grumpy? Look at that fluff. There is so much fluff in that cat. Whiskey, you got to come over here so we're going to look at you. Come here. Right over here. Come on. There you go. Look at that beautiful whiskey. Yes. Yeah, apparently you're supposed to make t-shirts there, Fox.
Yes.
Not only people here, but people at the art walk. Have you made t-shirts? Yes, but no. You want to go outside, Whiskey? I don't think you do.
She'd be about as thrilled getting drenched as a zombie would.
Yeah.
Instead, she's just going to put it in the bag.
You gonna kill that bag, Whiskey? Yeah, she's a bag killing cat. Whiskimus, a grumpy old bag of mine. There they are. A little more.
You have been called a beautiful fluff ball.
Whiskey, you are a beautiful fluff ball, and I love you. She does actually, in the morning and right at the beginning of the night, she'll usually come up and jump up on the bed and sit there and flick me with her tail, because that's what she likes to do. So I'll be trying to sleep, and then I just all of a sudden wake up to this tail flicking me in the face. Thanks, Whiskey. I love you.
Not so grumpy, are you?
She just plays it off like she's a grump. There we are. And then once the ink dries a little bit, I'll be able to make that look a little more watery on him. Trust me, it'll work out good in the end. I'm a doctor of cartoons. If that's even a thing. It is now. I invented it. I'm gonna have to go back and see if we can hear the Super Mario RPG playing away there.
Oh, Aussie Ange said that she couldn't hear anything in the background, so.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure she's got some kind of like special Australian hearing, so they can hear like, you know, a 13-foot spider coming after her or something. Maybe that's where the dark elves live. I'm just scratching something over there. You know, I kind of feel bad, Undead Jet. I didn't make these trees look wiener enough. They're not as phallic as they should. I'll make it up to you the next time, buddy. Go. Now, do a little bit of the sidewalk action here. Little tufts of grass, poke it up. And then gonna make the sidewalk look like it's been sitting around and mostly dirty, except for where Carl's walking, because that's gonna get nice and clean. This is actually the bottom of the page, so.
Jed says, please don't.
Yeah, he said please, so I'll pass next time. Sorry, Jed, can't do it. I'd like to get I have to do something with the gnome so I can draw some mushrooms, because I always like drawing mushrooms. You ever notice before you leave and go out the front door, I have the well, you've seen it before, the fungus city thing that I painted?
Yep.
Yes, that was fun. I used to just draw a lot of mushrooms because it's just the edges and the way you can goopify them and all the slime and everything.
That one canvas that I have probably out in the garage right now that we rescued from the car wash, it's got a giant melting mushroom in it by accident.
Stuck? Yeah, you are. Of course you are.
See clawing stuff, lover? Yeah. Whiskey's got that problem. She's about what is she, like 16 human years old now, lover? Yeah, 17 human years, and she still hasn't figured out how to like unclaw herself when she's clawing things. So you kind of got to give her a little help there. There we are. And then the extra secret here is go back with a nice blue. I'd have to steal a little bit from here on the old tray. Just gotta make sure I got the proper amount of blue here. Yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. There we are. And you just kind of go over the lines a little bit, and then it'll pop out really nice and fancy. Don't ask me how. It's just that's the way it goes. And it just does. It just looks nice that way. Except I need actual blue. My blue is slowly leaving this pen. Terrible.
Who keeps giving the cats the keys to the UFOs? Like,
I don't know. They keep finding it somehow, somewhere. You jerks. Thanks, Jen. I accidentally stumbled across this technique just by playing around with some color one day. There you go. And then, yes, it just makes it look proper. I think the first one I did was my calendar last year that I actually put it into like effect and testing and everything was for the April drawing of with the Nightcrawler standing in the rain under an umbrella. Oh boy. There we are. And the secret is you just try to make it as uniform as possible, otherwise it just doesn't look as right. And of course, my damn pen keeps dying on me. Sorry, I got a little bit of auxiliary blue over here hiding away. So yeah, you just do you try to do one side of it. It makes it look a little bit better, but and then you can put a little bit underneath the glasses and places where water would normally pool, and then it just kind of works out really nice. Because you don't really actually, the secret of drawing I've found is that you don't actually have to draw the thing you're trying to show. You just have to make it so that the brain figures it out and puts the rest together.
no, that makes absolute perfect sense because it reminds me of a t-shirt design I did for my boss. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the story, but let's just say I somehow had to make a still image look like a very angry cartoon wizard, like waving his arms up and down. So the decal ended up having about 5 actual individual arms on each side at different angles and then just motion lines. So yeah, the brain can put together that this wizard is like waving their arms up and down, throwing a fit.
I think I got the idea once I read something about Frank Frazetta, and that's what he said when he painted things. He's like, I don't actually like paint the like body or the image. I just kind of paint around it or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact quote that he used. He's one of the greatest artists ever in the entire universe, and at least in my most humble opinion. And it was weird because I'd always kind of done that with my drawings. I was like, I don't have to make it. You just got to give the illusion that it's there, and then it works out. And then when he said that, I was like, hey, he's a pretty smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. I've been doing that. So he may have copied me, actually, even though he's born and died before I was even alive. Yo, that. Whammo. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit on top of his hat as well. Ding. There we are. That looks relatively what I would like it to look like. Now, need a pen that's not going to be messing with me here. There's a pen over there handy, but should be by the stack of books there, maybe, possibly. Excellent. Thank you. Let's see here. Get the old brimstone symbol in there because sulfur is an essential component of life, much like my cartoons. And we'll sign this bad boy up. Got a little bit more green to do here, but might as well get this out of the way right now. I believe it's the 11th today. In no dry July. And we'll just call this one
Edmonton 2026.
Carvis Edmonton 2026. Let's also specify that it was July. There we go. Did I what?
Put the 6 in the other 2026?
Oh, yes. It was there all along. I guess I gotta make the trees look a little more tree-like here, just so that it looks proper. And it's all uniform with how I usually draw my cartoons. I'm starving, Fox. It's almost time for those chicken wings.
Yes. Thankfully, the weather's holding out.
Now, it better stay like this till you get home, then I don't care what happens. Actually, you know what? How about just some, like, a little bit of nice summertime heat? Give us some summer for a change.
You're funny.
Yes, it's an awesome piece of filth. Let's see here. What else? Yes. I have a little bit more blue that I need to add. Grab some of that guy there. All I hear is mucking away in the living room. Go. Just tighten that up a little bit, and then it'll look nice and proper. Because remember, there's the truth and the truth. Lionel Hutz. What a shame that guy no longer is able to work on The Simpsons. All right, there we are. I think that's relatively nice. Let's get a frame over top of that so we can see what it looks like. Actually, that's not the frame I'll be using. This one. There we are. Nice. Now I got to take a picture of it. Look at that soggy Carl. All right. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to give away today. I'll have to wait till next weekend. Actually, no, wait. I won't be here next weekend because I have a gigantic barbecue to do. Because that's apparently the thing you do when you buy a house. So I will see you in the following weekend after that, everybody. And thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm going to go shovel a little bit of water away from my house. And then go for some chicken wings with my accomplice, Fox Vegas. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us. We shall see you again very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Remain dauntless. Tschüss.